Alright, so here we're solving equations when the variables are on both sides. So variables on each side. So see, we got variables on each side. You may need to distribute first or do your other order of operations just like you would for anything else. So the key here is to get all the numbers on one side and use get all the variables on one side. So to do that, if I eliminate the x here, subtract x, well, that eliminates the x there, and I just have an x, and no x's over here. Since I got rid of the variables over here, I got to get rid of the numbers over here. So if I subtract 1, positive 1 minus 1 is 0. So it gives me just an x on this side, and 11 minus 1 is 10 on this side. So a little neater, x equals 10. There's our answer. It's that simple. So I'm going to move the 8a over, and I'm going to move the negative 3 over. So we say move, but really it's not just moving. We're just doing the same thing to both sides so that in essence there's no number here because I have added the opposite. So that gives me 5a equals 8a plus 9. Now I subtract the 8a and I get negative 3a equals 9. Now it doesn't matter which side I move it to. It's just I conventionally always go to the left. So now divide by the negative number in front here. So that whole number is negative. So I got to undivide or unmultiply, which is divide, by a negative 3. That gives me a equals 9 divided by negative 3. Alright, for this one, now we have to distribute to simplify this first. So we have 12m, and don't forget to distribute to both. 2 times negative 1 is a negative 2. Equals 8m. Now we follow the same steps. So something a little different happens here. When I subtract the 8m, alright, now I have 4m minus 2 equals, what's 8m minus 8m? That's just 0. So I write 0. So I keep it an equation. That just add 2, and that gives me 4m equals 2. Divide by 4. That gives me m equals 2 over 4, or 1/2. I like fractions better, or you might like 0.5. Alright, so one more here. Parentheses on both sides, we got to distribute twice, no big deal. 2 times s is 2s. 2 times 11 is 22. 5 times s is 5s. 5 times 2 is 10. Now, move in all the variables on one side. And watch, I'm going to do it in two things in one step here. So I'm subtracting a 22 from both sides. That eliminates this. I'm subtracting a 5s from both sides, and that eliminates that. You don't have to do that, but it's just a little quicker. So 2s minus 5s is 3s equals 10 minus 22 is negative 12. Divide by 3, and that gives me s equals negative 4, because negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. Alright, a couple more complicated examples. Distribute first and then deal with the 2. So remember to write everything that you don't change. So I still write the 7y minus 1 because I didn't do anything to that yet. I got to keep it. It's got to tag along. 2 times 3 is 6. So that gives me 7y minus 1 equals 2y. Combine these now, and that is plus 4. And then I'm going to do my 2 for 1 step here. Minus 2y, because that eliminates the y's, and then add a 1, because that eliminates the numbers over here. That way we have no numbers, so just variables over here. No variables, just numbers on the right. So that gives me 5y equals 5, which gives me y equals 1. And then here I'm going to minus 3c from both sides, and I get negative 7 minus 7c equals negative 7. Now I add 7 to both sides. I add the 7, so I eliminate the numbers over here, so I have just variables. That gives me negative 7c equals 0. Okay, so the only thing I can plug in for c that would make this a true statement is 0. Negative 7 times 0 is 0. So that tells me that c equals 0. Alright, so sometimes you can set up an equation with variables on both sides that has no answer. There's no possible number. So if we do this out, we get a 2x minus 1 equals 4 plus 2x. And if I minus a 2x from both sides, those both cancel and I get negative 1 equals 4. Well, that's not true. So not true, or never true, gives you something that is no solution. That's our symbol for no solution. This is not true, so there's no solution. There's no number you can plug into this original equation that would actually work. And then other ones, any number would work no matter what you plug in. So I distribute my negative 2, and I get negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 1 is a plus 2. And that equals 2 minus 2x. So I have the same exact thing on both sides, a negative 2x and a 2. Or if I finish it all out, add my 2x, and that gives me 2 equals 2. Alright, so always true is all real numbers is your solution. Alright, and we just use this symbol. Alright, and here's just a couple of examples of some word problems. So, tripling the greater of two consecutive even integers. So our first even integer we're just going to call x. Our second, consecutive means one even then the next even, is going to be whatever that number is plus 2, right? Because that number plus 2 will give us the next even number. The tripling the greater of two consecutive, so we're going to triple this one, so 3 times the second even number, gives the same result as, so that's our equals, gives the same result as subtracting 10 from the lesser even integer. So subtracting 10 from the lesser. This is our first even and our second even number, right? Now we just got a variable on both sides kind of equation that we got to solve. So we distribute. We get 3x plus 6 equals x minus 10, right? We bring down everything that we didn't do anything to. Now I subtract x and get 2x plus 6 equals negative 10. And I subtract 6. Gives me 2x equals negative 16. So x equals negative 8. So our first even integer is negative 8. And our next one would be 2 greater than that, so it's actually negative 6. Negative 8 and negative 6. So those are our two even integers. The formula for a perimeter of a rectangle is this, where L is length and W is the width. A rectangle has a perimeter of 24. So the perimeter is equal to 24, where L is finest dimensions if the length is 3 inches greater than the width. Alright, so that means that length is 3 inches bigger than the width. So that's going to be W plus 3. So we have 24 equals 2 times W plus 3 plus 2W. Alright, so then now we just solve away. 24 equals 2W, distributing, plus 6 plus 2W. We now have like terms, so we get 4W there. Bring down everything we didn't change. So 24, this combines to 4W, it's plus 6, this is still plus 6. Now we solve. 24 minus 6 is 18. Now we divide both sides by 4. And we get 18 over 4 equals W. So that reduces to 9 over 2, or 4.5. Here are your U-tries, so variable on both sides. Here you have to distribute first, then solve. Here you got to distribute, combine the numbers, and distribute over here, then continue solving. And then this is very similar to the last two problems. Alright, if you have any questions or comments, write them down in the margin or something so you don't forget to ask tomorrow, and I'll see you next class.